Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Blue Lotus Gardens. My name is Blue Phoenix. I make fun planty videos from my found knowledge, and on my channel I just like to keep it planty. So it's like all about the plants that I love and the plants that I want to talk about. So join me in my blog as well. Links down below. It's a plant blog and then also a plant shop. So I have featured plants on there that I sell, that I grow myself. And then also share with you also my found knowledge, and then I have groups and awesome other little things on there as well. Members get exclusive perks and then discounts as well. Thank you all so much. So in this video I wanted to talk to you all about Hoyas. We're having a little Hoya haul. This is my little Hoya haul. These are Hoyas that I have either traded or have been gifted, and I just really appreciate the community of people that have introduced me to Hoyas, because I love them, and so thank you. And we're going to be talking about these Hoyas. So the first one is one of my favorites, and I received this through a trade. It's an Incrasatta Moon Shadow. I really like this one because of its foliage. Okay, so it looks just like a nice, like simple, elegant, thin leaf Hoya, and it has a new little growth point right. And then, as you can see here, there is a new growth point right there. Isn't that cool? So that's how it grows, and so I'm really excited to see it grow. It's one of the ones that when I received in a trade was not looking so well. So I think from what I think, it wants to be more root bound, and to start it to grow. So that's why I believe it started to grow, and I keep it also in my grow tent. So I have grow lights. These grow lights are pretty decent grow lights, and if you guys like me to make a video about my grow lights or my grow tent, I'd be happy to share that knowledge with you all as well. I learned from people from my Discord group, and so I really appreciate them for sharing that knowledge with me, so that way I can share that knowledge with other people that want to start. This grow tent of mine is like a more of a beginner friendly grow tent, and I'll be happy to share that with y'all. If y'all want, you can leave a comment down below, and I'd be more than happy to discuss that in a future video. So this is the Incrasatta Moon Shadow. I really like it. This might be a lengthy little video, so I'm sorry if I ramble a little too much, but I love Hoyas, and I just want to share them with y'all. We're also going to do a small repotting. This is a Hoya Walliniana, and I like it for its chocolate foliage, and it is more of like a thicker leafed Hoya. This is the Hoya Rosita. It almost looks like the Whitey Eye, and I like it for the way that it's like sun stressed on the outer lining of it, and then also it's a thicker leafed Hoya. So and it's in my Sphagnum Moss, and I need to repot it because it's time for it to get repotted. And I have these little containers for it. This is the Hoya Rosita. I bought this from a private seller. I really like it. And then I make these, and then I put the little Sphagnum Moss in them, so it helps. So next is a Hoya Snowball. So the Hoya Snowball is a variegated Chelsea. So it has the Chelsea thick leaf, and dimples. I call them dimples, but it also it's variegated on the outer rim of the plant, and it has like new growth points, and I'll show you a close up of it. But it's one of my favorites. It's a great, easy, variegated, uncommon Hoya that I haven't really seen other people really like speak about, and I think it's really interesting. It's one of the more easier and fast growers as well.
As you see, this is the way it looks, and that new growth point is the pink dot, and the new foliage is how it looks like.
So next, we have this Hoya Mathilde. So the Hoya, this is the Hoya Mathilde, which is a really good and easy fast grower that I have enjoyed growing myself. And the Hoya Mathilde, I believe, is a cross between the Hoya Serpens and Hoya Carnosa.
Here is the Hoya Mathilde. I really like the glossy, splashy leaves, and from what I was researching, the splashiness is due to environmental issues, so that is something worth knowing. And I believe you get a splashier marking on your plant if it has more sunlight on it, from what people were saying. So I will be doing my own research. I have another cutting, so I will be putting that one in like a more brighter situation, and then having this one in a more like lower light situation, and see what happens.
Okay, so next I have the Hoya Sunrise. It is a little sun stressed. From when I received it, I have propagated it, and then I have one of the propagations in one of my prop box that I'm selling. But this is a really pretty nice plant. It is a little bit like, it is a fast grower from my experience personally, and I did have trouble identifying this one because I was having trouble identifying the Rebecca and then the Sunrise. That's why it's in a that's why I wrote on their pots, so I won't forget. But I propagated this all started because I propagated a Rebecca, and we'll get onto it. Two slightly differences to them, so that's how you could tell. One has like a darker, the Hoya Sunrise has darker, thicker green leaves, and then the Rebecca has a darker green leaves with a purple underside to them, so that way you all will know as well, and I'll do a little close-up for y'all in just a little bit.
So here is a Rebecca, and then if y'all could see, the underside of the foliage is more of a darker purple tint to it as it matures, but that's how you could tell. Here is the Thai Sunrise. I think it's so pretty. I really like the foliage. It really looks prehistoric to me, so I enjoy that about it as well. And look at that new growth, just ready to keep on going.
So the Hoya, from what I was researching, the Hoya Rebecca is a cross between Hoya Lacunosa Lankawai. I'll put the name on the screen just to be sure, and then cross between obscura. So this this information was brought to my attention when I was researching it, and then looking into the other kind of like sister plants that it has. It has a sister plant called Rachel, and which is really interesting. But it actually was crossed at Spring Valley Tropicals. It's crossed in the years, I want to say in 2007, 2008 from what I was reading. And the owner actually wrote on there, and they were saying how it was crossed with a moth butterfly, so it was like it went from seed pod to seed pod, and that's how it became. And then the owner received that cultivar, and then some of the other seedlings were tossed out. But that was given as an update on a website that I was researching, and I'll put all that on the information on down below, so that way you can look at it as well, and know more about that as well. But that's just a really cool reference that I thought, because there's a lot of Hoyas and a lot of them look similar, and I had a hard time identifying them. Part of me knew what they were, but I just needed to know. You know, like you just have to know. So those are fun and great, and they have like a really cool little history behind them. So you're not just sharing like a plant, you're also sharing a little part of that history also, and just kind of fun how like nature just creates fun new varieties for us to like learn about. I think that's cool. Okay, so now in this part we're going to repot some of my little Hoya plants, the Rosita, and then also the Walliniana. I think these are great. I have another Hoya coming in, and then I'm doing some research on Hoya numbers, and all of this also will be on my blog. And it's just this is just things that I'm really interested in, and I'm curious to know more about them. The gist of what I understood, and it's a little analogy that they put together, but it helped understand it. The numbers are somewhat of like a social security type number for the plant. So that's what I was learning more. Little thing that I'm learning about, and then I'll get more into it in another video. So just so y'all know. So a lot of people probably don't like using Sphagnum Moss, because a lot of people have issues with Sphagnum Moss because it dries out on them really easily, or it like either like it gets too wet. So like for me, like this is my Sphagnum Moss, and I basically don't moisten it again until it's like this dry. It has to be this dry, and then I'll water it, and then I'll rinse it out. But in the meantime, it's just gonna get spritzed until the whole thing gets dried out. But these little propagation boxes that I made really have been helpful. Like string of plants in here, just go wild. They just grow. And it's reusable, so I like that. I like focusing on sustainability, and I know it's like a plastic type material, but it could be washed and reused, gifted, repurposed. Like it's something that's what I think is really cool. And I just keep looking at this little sweatshirt, and I just love it. I really love this sweatshirt. And you can find this on my blog. All of that really like helps support it. It's a plant blog and more. So it's plant blog and a little plant shop as well. I really want to explain why, and I'll explain why more in another short video, maybe in a repotting. But it's super short. So for my Hoya mix, the one I use, right now that I'm using is Miracle Grow, the gold version, and then I'm amending it with orchid bark as needed, with some plants, or with mostly perlites. And the reason why I'm doing this is because that is what's mainly available at the moment, and then also it's what other people can really like understand, because that's what's mostly available for other people. And so I think that's a way to approach it. I'm not supporting Miracle Grow, not one to really support Miracle Grow, but that's just my little reasoning behind it. So next, I've always was like, how do you, right? So as you pot it, you want to make sure part of it stays out of the soil, and you can use like little clips and stuff, but most of the Hoyas will have a new growth point emerging from them also. So it'll be easy to show you like that, and I'll do a little close-up when I'm done as well, so that way you all can see. Okay, it gets a little harder to pot into the container when it has like a lot of perlite in there, but it's worth it. Okay, and then this one, just put you like that. So let me do a close-up so that way y'all can see how I did this.
Sorry for the mess, but here is how I pot them up, and the way I'm going to do this, we'll water it afterwards, because if you top water it, it's just going to move off the top surface. So you want to bottom water it, but this is how I placed it. And as you see, those little dots in there, those little dots are those growth points, and that's where the new growth will emerge from. This one I had to submerge it a little bit more, so I will be bottom watering it. Here's how. An example of how like new growth will emerge from like a propagated Hoya. As you see, it grows from like the inner parts of the stem, and the new foliage emerges from that. One of the just really beautiful Hoyas. So pretty.
Alright folks, thank y'all so much for joining me on my little Hoya haul, and just letting me ramble a little bit about them and talk to y'all about what I've been researching about them and sharing that knowledge with y'all. I enjoy Hoyas a lot because they are really elegant, beautiful. Their foliage is super completely different. They're hardy, and they can be shared amongst friends and so many other people. So if you ever are considering something to try a Hoya. It's really on the simpler side, and it's fun also. Thank y'all all for supporting my channel, all my new subscribers. I see all of y'all subscribing to my channel, and I really appreciate it. And then also commenting back, like, y'all are really amazing for supporting me and helping this channel grow. This channel is really something that I've been passionate and dedicated for about 2 years now. I wanted to share this holiday season with you all and let you all know how much I appreciate you all for supporting me along the way and helping me grow and watching my shop really grow, and how we are becoming a sustainable plant shop. So y'all have a wonderful holiday season. happy Vlogmas. Y'all take care out there. Bye everyone. Peace and love. I think out of all of these, I might just like Incrasatta Moon Shadow a little bit more. But that's just me.